Before the war, Ukraine was rising, fast. Its cities were alive, its economy was growing, and its people were building a brighter future. But now, everything has changed. Millions displaced, cities in ruins, dreams shattered. So here's the question no one dares to ask out loud. Will Ukraine ever go back to what it was? Or has the country been changed forever? Stick around, because the answer reveals not just Ukraine's future, but the fate of Europe itself. What Ukraine was before the war, Ukraine was on a steady path of transformation. After years of political instability, the country had begun to stabilize economically and politically. Cities like Kyiv, Lviv, and Odessa were becoming vibrant urban centers, full of culture, tech startups, and growing international influence. Ukraine's economy was diversifying, with agriculture, IT, and manufacturing all contributing to a promising future. Ukraine's IT sector, in particular, was booming. The country had become a top outsourcing destination in Europe, with thousands of talented developers and engineers working with clients around the globe. Tech hubs were emerging in cities across the country, attracting foreign investors and fueling a new generation of entrepreneurs. At the same time, Ukraine was solidifying its identity. After the 2014 Maidan Revolution, the country leaned more decisively toward the West, seeking integration with the European Union and NATO. Ukrainian culture flourished, with music, film, and literature reaching new audiences worldwide. Patriotism surged, not from nationalism, but from a desire to protect the future of a democratic and sovereign state. Tourism was also on the rise. Travelers from across Europe were discovering the country's historical cities, natural beauty, and vibrant festivals. Ukraine was no longer a forgotten Soviet state. It was becoming a modern European nation with a unique voice and a bold vision for the future. The devastating impact of war, the Russian invasion in 2022, shattered Ukraine's progress almost overnight. Cities once full of life were reduced to rubble. Mariupol, Severodonetsk, Bakhmut, names that once meant home and community now symbolize destruction. Critical infrastructure like roads, hospitals, and power stations were targeted, paralyzing entire regions and leaving millions without basic services. The human cost is even more staggering. Over 17 million Ukrainians have been displaced, both internally and across Europe. Families were torn apart, lives were lost, and a generation of children grew up hearing sirens instead of school bells. The psychological trauma of war, the fear, the loss, the uncertainty, will linger long after the last gun falls silent. Economically, the damage is immense. Ukraine's GDP plummeted by over 30% in a single year. Farmland turned into battlefields. Factories were shut down. Trade routes were blocked. Even cities far from the front lines faced daily missile threats that paralyzed business and investment. Rebuilding the economy will take years, if not decades. But perhaps the deepest wound is invisible, the emotional scar on the nation's soul. The war didn't just destroy buildings, it shattered a sense of normalcy. For millions of Ukrainians, the life they knew before 2022 is gone. And now, the biggest challenge isn't just reconstruction, it's rediscovering hope. Is reconstruction already underway? Despite the ongoing conflict, reconstruction efforts in Ukraine have already begun. From Kyiv to Kharkiv, small and large rebuilding projects are taking place, led by local communities, NGOs, and government initiatives. Roads are being cleared, homes are being patched up, and damaged schools are reopening in makeshift buildings. Even in the face of uncertainty, Ukrainians are showing remarkable resilience and determination to rebuild their lives. International support is a major factor. The European Union, the United States, the World Bank, and private institutions have pledged hundreds of billions of dollars for Ukraine's reconstruction. Global companies like BlackRock and McKinsey have begun working with the Ukrainian government to map out a long-term recovery strategy, one that could modernize the country's economy and infrastructure beyond its pre-war state. However, the road to recovery is filled with obstacles. Corruption remains a concern, and managing such vast amounts of aid will require transparency and strong governance. Ongoing attacks mean that in many areas, rebuilding is temporary. A school rebuilt today might be destroyed again tomorrow. And with millions of Ukrainians still abroad, the labor force for reconstruction is strained. Still, there is a growing belief that Ukraine has the potential to come back stronger. Many Ukrainians say they don't want to return to the old Ukraine. They want a better one, a country with stronger institutions, modern infrastructure, and deeper ties to Europe. If that vision holds, Ukraine's reconstruction could become one of the most remarkable recovery stories in modern history. What has changed forever? Some scars left by the war will never fully heal. Demographically, Ukraine may never return to its pre-war population. Millions of refugees, many of them skilled professionals, young adults and families, have built new lives abroad. Even with peace, not all will return. This demographic shift could lead to long-term labor shortages and a different societal structure in the decades ahead. Militarily and politically, Ukraine is forever transformed. The country has learned that neutrality is not an option. National defense has become a permanent priority, and military service is now deeply embedded into Ukrainian identity. Even everyday citizens have taken part in defense efforts, from drone building to community protection. The post-war Ukraine will be one of the most battle-hardened and defense-conscious nations in Europe. The trauma of war will also shape the culture. Children who grew up under missile fire will carry emotional and psychological scars into adulthood. National narratives will be rewritten through the lens of resistance and survival. Art, education, and politics will be marked by stories of loss, heroism, and resilience, turning the war into a defining chapter of Ukrainian identity for generations to come. Finally, Ukraine's relationship with Russia is irreversibly damaged. What was once a deeply entangled cultural and economic connection is now a severed tie. Even those with Russian roots or language ties have turned away in anger and betrayal. From now on, Ukraine's future will be written in a different language, one of sovereignty, independence, and European alignment. Is there real hope for Ukraine's future? Yes, despite everything, there is real and powerful hope. Ukraine has shown the world a level of unity, resilience, and courage that few imagined possible. From volunteers on the front lines to teachers holding virtual classes in bomb shelters, the Ukrainian spirit has not only survived, it has grown stronger. This spirit is now a symbol of national rebirth, not just survival. History shows that even nations devastated by war can rise again. Post-war Germany and Japan became global economic powers after total destruction. If Ukraine continues to receive international support, builds strong institutions, and attracts its diaspora back, it has the potential to become a modern European success story. More advanced and united than ever before, but it won't be easy or quick. The road ahead is long and uncertain. Ukraine's future depends on sustained peace, wise leadership, and a clear vision. Yet one thing is certain, Ukraine will never be the same again. And maybe that's exactly what the country needs to become something greater than it ever was. Ukraine may never return to the country it once was, but maybe it's not supposed to. From the ashes of war, a stronger, smarter, and more united Ukraine can rise. The battle for survival may be ending, but the fight to rebuild is just beginning, and the world will be watching. If this video opened your eyes or made you think differently, do one thing: subscribe. Every week, we uncover the truths the mainstream avoids. Leave your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like and share if you believe more people need to hear this story.